Yeah, but y'all down that's like PD hoes rise, and they rise again. From the front line to leading mates and friends. Oh, this is your season, time to take a stand. Hey, hero makers, legends spreading across the land.
It's your roof from Tassie, bouncing like a kid at a bunning sausage sizzle on a Saturday morn. Season 3's lit, laptop lifestyle, dad show, hero makers. Season is born from AI funnels to social selling grit. Now it's hero making time. Strap in, this is it, yo. I've hopped Tokyo's back streets, cop the LA glow, bringing yarns from the road, mate. Watch the wisdom flow from the kitchen bench, hustle to the big global stage. We're handing you the keys, now it's time to turn the page.
A few heroes rise, and they rise again. From the front line to leading mates and friends. Oh, this is your season, time to take a stand. Hero makers, been spreading across the land.
I'm the pumped up platypus from Sunny Q, way more bounce than a kid who spotted the ice cream van. You see, two Wizzy dads, mate, bringing boom source seed, helping legends step up, take the driver's seat. We're not just here to yabba raw, spin ya a line. We're handing you the mic so your voice can shine. From Tassie to Tokyo, Goldie to Perth, hero makers worldwide, lifting leaders of worth. Jeff Rue's got the coffee, double shot, mate, I'm wide. They platypus at the pool party, still floating our tide. Jeff from barbecues to boardrooms, we bring the yarns and the tools, helping legends lead strong and break all the rules.
See heroes rise, then they rise again. From the front line to leading mates and friends. And this is your season, time to take a stand. Hero makers, legends spreading across the land.
Grab your brew, your notepad, and your crew. It's the laptop lifestyle dad show. Hero maker season, bringing heroes out of you.
Patty the Roo, platypus bringing the tricks.
Hero makers podcast, your daily boom source fix.
Heroes rise, then they rise again. Hey, from the front line to leading mates and friends. Oh, this is your season, time to take a stand. Hey, hero makers, legends spreading across the land. Heroes rise, then they rise again. From the front line to leading mates and friends. Oh, this is your season, time to take a stand.
Well, welcome everybody. How are you going today? My name's Jeff Ross, and I've got a very exciting guest here from Learning Boosters, Zoe. So we're going to get into having an amazing interview here together and really unpacking what is Learning Booster.
What is learning boosted?
I'm not sure we've got a bit of echo there going, Zoe. So when you're not talking, I might just have to get you to mute yourself. A bit of feedback there. I've just muted you now. All good. Anyway, so no, keep your camera on, Zoe. There you go. We'll get this right. So let's dive in. So I want to just do a quick introduction here with Zoe, and then I'm going to get in and just do a bit of a live interview Q&A, and we're going to really unpack, what it looks like to have an amazing tutor to look after your children. The title of this whole interview is Are you worried about your children's learning? Well, here's what works, and we're going to really dive into that today. So welcome. Let us know where you're tuning in from around the globe, because I know that I have an international following, and this has been streamed in YouTube, LinkedIn. It's been streamed on Zoe's Facebook page and in her group as well, and everywhere between. So make sure that you share this out with your friends and family, and let's help spread the word, because Zoe is a real awesome hero maker here. And so welcome to everybody. My name's Jeff Ross, if you don't know who I am. And if you have been losing sleep, wondering how to support your child when school, it doesn't seem like it's a fit, this conversation's for you. If you're a grandparent, if you're a parent, if you've got young kids, pre-teen and pre-early teen in that space, this one is definitely for you. So welcome to me. Welcome tonight. We've got Zoe Buckley here from Learning Booster, who is a powerhouse in the world of education, advocacy, and unlocking your child's potential. She's the founder of Learning Boosters, and Zoe's on a mission here to help parents like you feel empowered, equipped, and confident. Even if your child is struggling with learning, confidence, or navigating the school system that just feels like it's not built for them. And as someone who was severely bullied as a kid at school, I understand intimately what that looked like, struggling to, grow up in the 90s in our school system, in that. Today's world's a bit different with all of the online stuff and everything that we have in here. But, Zoe just has an amazing ability here to make you feel present and feel valued and feel seen. Zoe's helped thousands of families, hundreds of families around, breaking through the confusion, overwhelm, and sinking what we do now. Feeling, turning into confidence, calm, and actual progress. She doesn't just know how to help your child. She cares deeply about that journey as well. And so we're going to bring out the gold in this interview tonight. And I want to dive into, really opening up this discussion, Zoe. So why so many kids are struggling right now. So let's start here. What do you feel is really going on for kids when school just feel like it's a fit for them?
Oh, that's a big question. And hello, everybody, and thanks for being here. Very much multifaceted these days. By that, I mean that kids seem to know more about stuff than I did or you did when we were growing up, simply because of technology. And I think there's probably about 5 to 7 facets here that we probably need to discuss. So it's a big subject. One is I think the pandemic is still having repercussions on learning, even though, the main part of the pandemic was what, 5 years ago or so?
Yeah, I heard a teacher say the other day that the kindergarten kids through are the COVID generation.
Yeah, exactly. And look, that time has set kids back on their learning. It has caused anxiety and stressful issues for them, as well as for the whole family. So I think that's probably one of the things is that the pandemic has had an effect. I think the second thing is that kids are, as I said, very worldly wise these days. So they know more than you or I knew when we were growing up. And by
Yeah.
that, I mean that because they have access to phones and iPads and computers and things, they probably know things they shouldn't know. because the brain can only take on so much and understand so much at certain ages. So they
Yeah.
obviously they know things that they shouldn't know at particular ages.
Yeah.
Um,
Fascinating. So it's like the boundaries have been taken away altogether, and they've had this free reign, and
yeah,
to a point, right? That, obviously parentings do the best that they can, but
yeah,
it's a very interesting world right now.
yeah. Because before the explosion with technology, parents were the knowledgeable folk, weren't we? We knew it. If we didn't know it, then it wasn't worth knowing. Whereas these
Mm,
days kids go, oh well, I'll find out from Google. You don't know, so there's those implications there as well. I think
yeah.
the other thing is that there's a lot of cyberbullying that goes on these days, and that is something that the kids can't get away from. So by that I mean, when I was bullied, because like you at school, I was bullied quite a bit. Didn't quite fit in, wasn't the
Mm,
norm, whatever that is. I don't know, but that was how it was phrased. Um, it happened at school. It might happen on your way home, but it didn't happen in your home, and your home was your
no,
safe place. Nowadays, because kids are on phones and other technology so early and can get access to it so quickly and believe that it's a right that they have that access, they can be bullied 24/7, and I think that causes a lot of emotional and self-esteem issues, which then replicates in the school, and they're not able to function and learn as easily as they might otherwise be, because they're quite shut down because of the anxiety and the stress that
yeah.
cyber
Well,
has
their
caused.
body's gone into that flight or fight response, right? It's a survival mode, and that makes a lot of sense. So, you talk a lot about learning style and learning style mismatches. So, what does that look like, and why is it so often misunderstood?
um I think the education system these days was in oh, how do I do that? Anyway, the education system nowadays is pretty much the same as it was like 200 years ago, when we needed readers and writers and people were tested a lot. These
Yeah,
days, slightly different sort of intelligence you're getting from a lot of kids. So a lot of kids will have an understanding of things that I, at that age, didn't
yeah,
understand, like how to get online and do stuff, how
yeah.
you've got all those online games where they're making things and doing all that sort of thing. We didn't have that. I mean, we had blocks and things like that to make, but it wasn't as sophisticated. And I
Mm.
think that kids are a lot more sophisticated in their learning these days, and I don't think the system has yet caught up.
No,
So I
and
think
I
that's
don't
the
think
major
that.
thing.
And I would agree with you. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing too that they're more sophisticated. I think it's just it's the evolution of where we're raising as humanity. There's good and bad to it all, and everything in moderation, right? But our kids here, my 13-year-old son, he's taught himself how to play guitar all through YouTube. So I think there's some pros to this conversation as well as some cons to it, and I think we need to weigh it up for each into one. That's what I like what you do about your tutoring, right? It's not just a one size fits all box. So let's
No,
look at that a
no.
little bit more. So, like, how do you cater your tutoring to the children's needs and their specific needs?
Well, I look at them in a holistic way, and by that I mean I look at what they like, um, whether they have what type of learning. So is it tactile? Do they need to do it to understand it? Is it audio? So do they need to hear it to understand it? Do they
Mm,
need to write it to understand it? Is it visual? What type of learning? Because you'll notice that in most classrooms, they'll teach a new concept one way, and that is whiteboard marker on a whiteboard. So if you've got a kid who learns from hearing it by doing it, he's not going to pick up that concept. And I think that's
mm,
the problem in classrooms these days, is this, because you've got 30, 26, 30 little individuals who have individual ways of learning. you can't get to everybody. The style of teaching is not going to suit everybody. It's going to suit the mainstream kid. It's not going to
Yeah.
suit the kid, have that extra intelligence that need to be stretched. It's not going to suit those kids that are really, really struggling. So ideas when you're presenting new information needs to be presented in different ways. So they need to
Mm,
be able to write it. They need to be able to touch, feel it. They need to be able to hear what it is. And from that, I'm able to understand how that child actually learns and then apply the way they learn to teach them other things. But it's not only
interesting.
how to teach them or what to teach them, but there's the emotional, physical side, mental side of how they learn. So by that I
Interesting.
mean some kids, like I was working with a kid today who's in year 10, and she's probably year 6 level maths, and she was so anxious that she basically shut down. She
Yeah, right.
couldn't write, she couldn't hear, she couldn't speak. So you need to break through that first and help them with that aspect before you can even teach them anything. And in a classroom, you can't do that. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about what I do, is that I find what makes that kid tick.
Mm.
How can I help them? So anxiety, stress, a disability of some sort.
So
How can I personally?
you're figuring out their emotional triggers, is that right? And then what triggers them, and then giving them safe tools to help them to regulate their emotions a bit so they can calm
Yes,
down and focus. Is that it?
yeah, and just to understand, Jeff, that they're normal.
Yeah.
It's
Beautiful.
natural to feel stressed. It's
Mm,
not, you're normal. I've said to this girl, you're normal. And she
good.
goes, oh no, I'm not. I'm so anxious I can't even speak. And I'm going, but
Mm.
that's normal for you.
I
Let's
know so many
find a
adults
way
like that
through
too,
that.
right?
So yeah, so that we can help you to get beyond that, so that you can do what it is that you're saying you want to do. So, yeah, it's not just about the subject and how they learn, but it's also about that psychological impact that things may have had on them. So,
Mm,
she actually had a trauma happen in year 8 for her, and it had to do with bullying. Oh, sorry, in year 6, and it had to do with bullying. And her learning has basically stopped since then.
mm.
She's
So
had
let's
4
unpack
years
this a
of
little bit
going to
deeper.
school, but she's not really learning anything.
Mm. So let's unpack this for the parents side of things. So, like it's understanding like how you work with the student, but what are some of the subtle signs parents often miss before the wheels start falling off? What are some of the cues that the parents can be equipped with to help them to prevent like the wheels falling off to start with?
Sure. It can be, "No, I can't do that," or, "I'm dumb," or, refusing to go to school, refusing to do their homework, refuse
Mm,
to show and share with the parent what they've done during the day, which is really important. It's really important for a kid to say, "Oh, this happened to me today," and to feel nurtured and safe in that environment. "This happened to me today, you know, and it's made me cry," or whatever it might be. So it's difficult for parents because they're in the situation. Sometimes they need someone else to say, "Hey, I noticed that such and such was saying this. Have you
yeah,
thought about
right.
this might help?" And that's why I get a lot of parents coming to me. They're not finding help from the school, and so they come to me and they go, "This is the issue. Can you help?" And then mainly what I say, "Okay, I've heard what you said as the parent." I then go to the child or young person, because I work with young adults as well. Um, you know, I go to the young person and go, "Okay, what's your perspective on this? I want to hear what you think about this."
Interesting.
"Oh,
I
mum's
just
always on a phone," or "dad's always on a phone," or "dad's never there," or "I can't talk to them." Or when I say something, they don't really listen to me. So
mm,
there's actually got a list on my website that actually is called Signs and Excuses worksheet, and on that it gives parents 10 ideas on what to look out for in this situation, and then what do they do after that. So if the child is actually You know, if they're showing signs on the list, they tick off so many things, tick off 5 things or whatever, then give me a call. Let's have a chat. Let's sit down. Let's work through the issues and the problems and give them some assistance.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I actually just see here on our call now, one of my dear friends here locally in Launceston, Sheena, has just commented on here. And she's a beautiful mum with kids with special abilities. I don't call them disabilities because I believe they're special abilities, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so this is why we're hosting this interview tonight, to be able to help, facilitate this conversation so we can help spread the good news of what you're doing here. So if you're wanting to learn a bit more about what Zoe's doing here, I'll just drop the website in the comments. It's learningboosters.com.au. And so I'll just put it in the comments there for you. And then I'll pin it up here on the chat and we'll get started back into this conversation. But I highly recommend, if you're a parent, especially if you've got a child who's in that space where they may be struggling at school, for whatever reason it is, I highly recommend that you reach out to Zoe. She's one of the best in the business. So Zoe, let's get back to our interview. So what happens to a child's confidence when they feel like they're always behind?
Oh goodness, my heart goes out to some of the kids that I see. It's body language, so they're almost turned in on themselves. They're droopy. Their self-esteem, basically, they don't have any. They cry at the drop of a hat. They're anxious. They might bite their nails. So
Mm,
it's such a big impact. And the way that kids are not dumb. They're
mm,
not dumb. I don't care what
no,
anyone says. They are not dumb. you know,
I
and
love your
they know if they're behind, because their mates, they're sitting at a table with other people and their
mm,
mates are getting it and they're not. And they
yeah,
come into me and they go, "What's wrong with me?" And I go, "There's nothing wrong with you. We just need to help you find the way you learn best."
give you the right tools to do the job.
They're not, yeah,
Yeah.
they're basically normal.
So let's talk about peer
And
pressure.
Dave, can I just pick something up here? Sorry, Jeff, in the
We'll go for it.
comments, Dave said it seems schools these days are pushing kids from a young age to do more work at home than in the classrooms.
Mm,
Um, yes, I would tend to agree with that. They're actually pushing kids to do more work. And a lot of some of the things that I see is what I call busy work, where they've got the kids writing lots of stuff, but they don't necessarily understand the concepts. And I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to say NAPLAN is an absolute no-no.
hmm,
NAPLAN, what does it achieve? It achieves a microscopic amount of time in a kid's school life where they have to sit down in front of a computer and answer lots of questions. And are they at their best that day? Are they feeling okay? Are they feeling
right?
threatened by this whole environment? All those sorts of things. And then what does NAPLAN do? Really,
Mm.
seriously.
It's a
So
glorified
it's one of the educational things gone nanas, in my opinion. So yes, Dave, they do seem to want kids to do a lot more outside the classroom, and to some extent I agree with it, but it's how it's done. So is it lots of pen and paper stuff? Are they sitting there for hours doing stuff, or is it like a 3-minute, 5-minute, let's grab this and play with this and do this?
Yeah.
I do get the kids to do stuff that come to me, but it's like a really quick 5 minutes. I want you to do this in 5 minutes 3 times a week. That's it. And it's just repeating a skill they've learnt.
Mm.
Yeah.
Simplifying it. So I want to come back to the conversation here around, especially around peer pressure and
Yep.
comparison traps. Because I know growing up as a kid, that was my biggest thing that I, tried to fit in. So I went and did some silly things, like, I got expelled from school because I sold drugs. And, that was all because I
Wow.
was
You
to
naughty boy.
fit in, right? So I was trying to impress people, really, and
Yeah.
trying to make friends. And I just got in with the wrong crowd. So let's talk a bit about that. I think, what can we do when our kids start believing they're not enough, they're not as smart, they're not good enough? Like, how can we, prevent someone from making silly mistakes like going selling drugs at school and getting expelled before that even happens.
Sometimes you can't do anything.
Mm,
Sometimes you've got to allow that child to go through that experience and come out the other side and go, oh, whoops, I made a mistake.
yep.
Because learning is all about making mistakes. Even us
Mm,
as adults, we do silly things and we learn and we go, oh, okay, that's what that was about. And I
yep.
think sometimes you just have to let the kids go and let them do, because as a parent, your kid's not always going to listen to you. And
No idea
9
what's
times
my
out of
parent.
10, they won't listen to you. You know, their mates at school, they know everything, you know, and kids
Mm,
these days know a lot more and they think they know everything. All you can do as a parent is support them and just say, I really don't like what you've done, and I don't agree with it. So what can we do about it? And you throw it back to them. Why did you do what you did? And you talk to them about it. You don't yell and scream at them and give them punishment. You talk through it and you say to them, why did you do what you did? What was the pressure there from that particular group of people that made you do that? No,
wise
what
counsel.
did your gut tell you that that was the right or the wrong thing to do? You know, those sorts of things.
Yeah. Wise
Yeah,
counsel. And,
we need to make mistakes. Some of us do need to live
yeah, look,
through.
I learned some very valuable lessons out of the other end of that experience. And I think sometimes we learn more from our mistakes than we do from our victories, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And we take
Mm,
more notice of the mistakes
mm,
than we do the victories.
mm. So let's move into, so like when the system isn't helping, like, you know, the school system right now, it's just not working for your child. So what do parents do when interventions at school just aren't enough? Like, what are their options?
Well, they can get on a call with me and have a chat with me, and I will help them and redirect them. Sometimes it can be the fact that the school does not fit the child and
Mm,
there needs to be a change of school. I had to do that with my own son because he was getting majorly bullied in year 8 at a particular school. The school would do nothing about it. They basically blamed me as a parent that there must be something wrong in our household. Um, and then I just decided, because I have the knowledge I have, that I could think about, well, okay, we'll put him in a school that actually suits him, suits his style of learning. He was able to withdraw from class occasionally if his anxiety got really, really bad and he couldn't function properly. He could go out into a garden they had there for 10 minutes, take a break, come back to class. So there are schools that fit some students better than others. Um, so I would probably suggest something like that, but without knowing the actual student, the family situation, all that sort of thing. That's a really hard question to answer,
yeah.
really. Yeah.
And that's what basically best advice you can give, like seek wise counsel at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I've
Yeah.
had parents come to me and gone, my child has ADHD. It's been diagnosed as ADHD. I've gone through all the hoops at school to try and get him more funding, to get him an assistant teacher to help and all that sort of stuff. And still the school won't do anything about it.
Mm. So
So,
Let's unpack that. So what do you say to a parent who feels brushed off or dismissed by teachers and schools about a situation like that?
yeah, well, then there again, I need to know the history.
Mm,
Uh, and I need to understand, not only from the parental point of view, from the teacher's point of view, from the school's point of view. So I've got the whole idea on what's going on. And then I will say to the parent that I can be an advocate for them. In some cases, I don't often do this, and talk to the school about this particular situation and ask why the funding's not coming through, if they've done all, crossed the I's and dotted the T's with everything that has to be
mm,
done. And then I will become their advocate. And also I will support the child through whatever learning difficulty they are actually having. So sometimes
mm.
having that extra support, such as what I do, will help the school to
Okay.
realise realise, oh, actually, yeah, this is a bit serious, or, oh, this happened and or that or whatever. So, yeah, being an advocate for that actual student.
So having an advocate there, like someone who's a bit of a voice of reason, is not really attached to the outcome, can be very helpful, you found.
Yeah, because as a parent, you get emotionally
Yeah.
involved, don't you, in that
I
sort of
mean,
situation.
we get attached, right, to the
Frustrated,
outcome.
you get angry, you might
Mm,
say the wrong things, or you might send an email that you regret sending, or whatever it is. And so you
mm,
need that third person who knows what's going on, knows all the information, but who's not privately and personally invested in the whole thing.
yeah, no, that makes a
That
lot of sense.
help.
Mm. So for the audience watching in the chat, and if you're watching the replay later on, I'd love to know, like, let us know in the chat, have you ever felt frustrated or unheard by the schooling system and where you are right now? I'd love to know. Let us know in the comments. So Zoe, back to you. What are some of the like few key things parents can do, this week, this year, to support their child more effectively?
Communication.
Mm,
9 times out of 10, it's a breakdown in communication. And then particularly if you've got, from 8 years to about 16, then it becomes a yelling match. So who said what? As the parent and the adult, you actually have to take a step back and not get emotionally invested in what's going on. You
yeah.
actually have to listen to what your child is saying to you. Try not to listen to have a reply, but you need to listen, and you need to say to them, now, what I'm hearing you say is X, Y, Z. Is that what you mean?
Mm,
So it's respecting where the child is at also, as well as being a parent and not their best friend.
yeah.
I think that's an issue that lots of parents,
That's
oh,
an
I can't
important,
do that
important piece.
because, then he's going to do this and then it'll feel awkward and da da da. And I quite often say, look, I'm sorry, I'm going to, who's the parent here? Do you
Mm,
want to be their best friend, or do you want to be their parent? Because if you want to be their best friend, this sort of behaviour or whatever's happening is going to continue. So sometimes I have to be sort of a bit heavy-handed with parents, and they go, oh, okay. Because let's face it, as a parent, we don't know how to parent.
no, we most of us
At
haven't read
school.
the
It
parenting
doesn't
book.
come with a handbook. We
Yeah,
have to learn as we go,
and
but we have to be the bigger person about it.
I'm definitely not perfect at it for sure. But what I have come to realize that each child is different. You just think you've
Yeah,
got to figure it out with one child,
absolutely.
and the other one's completely different. Different.
Yep. And the
Uh,
other thing too, Jeff, is that if they're going to rant and rave, you've got to let them rant and rave.
yeah.
Let them get it out of their system.
Oh,
And
they've seen me. They've
I've
seen me rant and
I've got
rave. So
kids yell and scream and carry on at me, and I've just sat there.
yeah, I've seen
And
a
then
lot of
when they've
adults,
quieted down,
myself included.
I've gone to them, okay, are you ready now?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no rule book.
No. The
Now,
mantra I
Dave
keep
had a
everyone.
question here somewhere. Something
Yeah, you
about
want to come back to that? So here it is here. So I rightly no, that's a statement. Here's his question. What are your opinions on the
schools lack
school
discipline.
systems
Yeah.
these days
Oh,
compared to
gee,
when
that's
we were
a
at
tough
school?
question, Dave. Yeah.
That is a tough one.
Legally, schools cannot grab or hit a student. That is a legal thing. You can't even these days go up to a kindy student who's hurt themselves and cuddle them. Absolute no, because that can be
Mm,
misconstrued these days. However, if you've got a student that is totally beside themselves and you ask them, is it okay if I hug you? Is it okay? Like 9 times out of 10, I will just pat their shoulder like this, because this is what mum did or dad did when they were little. So we quite often will rub their shoulders or pat their shoulders when they're upset. And I say to them, do you mind if I just pat your shoulder? And I show them what I'm going to do on myself. They think it's weird that you're asking them, but legally you have to do it. And so punishment is an absolute no-no at schools. However, saying that, I have been in a school where I had to get two of the biggest students in the class to sit on top of this student because he was running around with a pair of scissors in the classroom threatening to kill me. And so I said to these two boys, would you mind literally sitting on him? Oh, they thought it was fantastic. But I had to get the principal in and I had to write a report and why did you do that? And I had to talk to the parents and, there's all that rigmarole. So you can't punish them.
Mm.
Not even a parent can slap their own child these days.
It's an
You can get
interesting
in
world.
trouble for that as a parent.
Mm.
So it's gone a bit silly. So yeah.
I think it's gone from one extreme to the next. It's the old pendulum swing. It's an interesting world. So I love to come around here onto this conversation and spin it back to a more positive note. So what does it look like when a child who's been struggling starts believing themselves again? Can you share a story where you've helped with that?
Well, one of my major ones was a 5-year-old boy who's in grade 1. He'd been kicked out of I don't know how many schools here in the southern Tasmania and was about to be kicked out of another one. And this is the one time where I really put on my parental robes and went in there going, this is not happening. You cannot do this, because this was
Mama
his
bear
last chance. And I found out, and again, this is just through going around talking to people, asking if I can talk to such and such. You have to ask access, of course, to talk to people. That I found out because he was awarded a state at this particular school, if anything went wrong, he was blamed for it. So then you have to go through educating those people in a good way, on how that is unfair and how to communicate and really find out who did that, not this particular boy. So I was actually able to keep him at the school. There were, restrictions and things put on, and I went in every day to work with him instead of, twice a week, for a certain amount of time. And, all that was set in place. And then just helping this particular teacher who was old school teacher. She was actually in her late 60s and she was still teaching. And she didn't have those sort of nuances and understandings that you need to work with students these days, So that's one of the big things. And of course, that boy now, when I see him, and this was like 3 or 4 years ago, I saw him in town one day and I thought, oh my goodness, here we go. And I had to plant my foot, turn myself side on, because he ran full tilt at me and just threw himself at me. Where have you been? That's type of stuff. And he's in year 5 and he's doing really, really, really well. And
Yeah,
that's
that's
simply because somebody went in and just fought for him, basically.
so good.
His
Yeah,
foster parents had tried and no one would listen to them. So, yeah.
I picture a scene like you're walking along the beach, right? And all of these starfish are washed up on the ocean and they're all up on the beach there. And they've got this old man, he's just throwing one starfish back in the ocean at a time. And then another person comes up and he says, hey, how are you going to save them all? And he says, well, I'm not going to save them all, but I just saved that one. I just saved that one.
Yes.
I just saved that one. And it's the one person, right? It's the small one thing, that action can have a huge ripple effect later on in life. And it's a beautiful thing that you're doing, Zoe, in that space, making just the one feel valued, the one feel seen, the one feel heard. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And the reason I do this, Jeff, is because I've been where that kid was.
Yeah, I could sense that.
So, I know exactly what they're going to say. I know exactly what they feel, and I know exactly what they want to do. And
Yeah.
I say that to them, and they go, "How do you know?
Yeah.
Look at in your house and you this, that, and the other. And I go, yeah, mate, but I'm like 50 years older than you are. Give me a break. When you're my age, you'll probably have all this stuff too. But it's not stuff, you know. I've
Yeah.
been where you are, and you can stay where you are if you like, or we can do some stuff and we can get you out of here.
And I think that's
So
what makes it so great about what you do, because you have been where they are and you can empathise with that. And I think it's brilliant. So Zoe, if the parents are watching here tonight, you know, watching live with us or watching the replay later on, what's one thing that you would like them to take away from this conversation? What would that be? What would be that one thing?
there's no shame in asking for help.
Mm,
There is no shame in coming on a call and saying, I'm at the end of my tether, I don't know what to do.
yeah,
Because as adults, we seem to feel that we have to have all the answers. And I
yeah,
think this society lets us down, is that it used to be a community, a village that brought a child up. And there's a reason for that. There's a real reason for that, is because the elders know more than the ones down, and they know more than the other ones down, and other people have had different experiences that we can all draw from everybody's experiences. So we shouldn't be made to feel ashamed for saying, I don't know what to do.
mm,
At the end of my tether, I don't know what to do.
yeah.
So
That's
that
beautiful.
would be reach out. There is no shame in reaching out and getting help.
Yeah, beautiful. So for those of you who are watching and want to know how to reach out, go to learningboosters.com.au. We'll make sure that that's posted everywhere for you. And also you can have the opportunity here to go to learningboosters.com.au/discovery hyphen call. Let me just put that in the chat as well. And then you can go ahead and book in a discovery call with Zoe as well. It's been floating around here on the little ticker banner for the interview there as well. So make sure you go and take advantage of that. And really take the opportunity just
By the way, Jeff, is free.
yeah. So
I will give them 15 minutes of my time for free.
yeah, there you go. So go to learningboosters.com.au, go ahead and book in that call with Zoe and just get to that space where you can just get into the weeds of it all and feel valued and seen and come up with a plan for your child.
Mm.
So Zoe, let's bring it home. You know, and if you're watching this and you're saying your gut is just saying this is what I've been looking for, someone finally gets it. I don't want you to sit on that. I want you to act on it. So go ahead and just book in a call now. Find a time that works for you and make sure that you make that happen. And Zoe and her team at Learning Boosters, they are going to offer that discovery call. And Zoe just said here it's for free, right? So that's absolutely incredible. And these calls are designed to help you get clarity, help you get direction, help you get the support that you're looking for your child without any pressure. So what do you wish every teacher knew about the kids who are falling through the cracks? Just before we wrap up today, Zoe. What do you wish every
my
teacher knew about
goodness.
the kids who are falling through the cracks?
Oh, look, teaching can be such a frustrating thing when you're in the classroom situation. I just think kindness. I think if something's not working, say to the kids, oh, that's not working, is it? That's what I do. And they go,
Mm,
no, it's not, or I don't get it. So that's not working. And I go, okay, let's try this. Because let's face it, that's what life's about, isn't it? We try
yeah,
different things depending on what we need. So I think kindness and trying to
more
meet
kindness.
each individual personality where they're at.
Yeah, it's beautiful. More kindness. I love that. And more grace and more compassion and just let's bring more love into the conversation.
Mm,
Absolutely beautiful. Well, Zoe, thank you very much for your time tonight, and it's an absolute
very
blessing
welcome.
to these interviews. We're going to host another one down the road in a few weeks' time, but guys, make sure you spread this out to the world. Let's share it. Let's get this good message out, and put Zoe in front of the right people that she knows that she's called to help, because this is not necessarily just a job for Zoe; it's a calling. And you can really sense that through her passion and the way that she shows up and the way that she serves. So thank you very much for your time, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on our next interview, and bye for now.
Thanks, everybody.